Today we are in one of the greatest palaces of Istanbul, Palais de Hollande, and the Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands, Arjen Uijterlinde, is with us. Thank you so much for hosting us here.
Welcome, you're welcome.
It is quite important that we are having this video today because it is also the centenary of Turkish and Netherlands Treaty of Friendship.
We're here in Beyoğlu. We're here in the area of the diplomatic center of the historic Constantinople, Istanbul. And the Dutch are one of the, I think, of the oldest among a small group of countries who came to the Ottoman Empire, to Istanbul. And this place for us, I think it's the oldest representation, diplomatic representation of the Netherlands abroad. We came to this area in 1612.
Wow.
There were a number of palaces before, and they burned in the big fires of Istanbul, wooden palaces. And in 1859, this palace was built in stone.
I'm curious about your relation with the Turkish culture. European side or Anatolian side?
Oh, yeah. We're here in the European side.
Yes.
But I love to go to the Anatolian side. It's slightly different. There's more space. Places like Cengelköy or Kuzguncuk, Moda in Kadıköy. So I love to spend time there.
Turkish tea or coffee?
I both love that. It's Turkish tea you can drink without end.
Yeah.
And I think Turkish tea is very much also the symbol of dialogue, of taking time for each other.
Yes.
And I think that I appreciate very much. And also, it's served in a lale,
yes,
in a glass of which is a very important symbol of our relationship.
Yes, that's true. And do you support any Turkish sports team?
I very much watch sports. There's not really a specific team. I go to the matches of the football teams. I've attended Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Beşiktaş, Kasımpaşa. But now Beşiktaş has a Dutch trainer from this summer on, from Bronkhorst. So I think I will be a little bit more looking at Beşiktaş for the coming time.
Turkish desserts or pastries?
Always careful with too much sweet. And Turkish pastries, Turkish desserts, they're very seducing. So you have to be very careful because you eat too much and it's very hard. But I think it's a great tradition.
And the White Rose legend, I'm quite curious about that one.
Yeah, it's quite a famous story, and maybe it was a real history because in the time of Ambassador Kalkun, when he was here, he had the love affair with Beyazgül, who was probably a woman coming from Montenegro or the Caucasus that stayed in the Palais. And this was a little bit unlawful relationship, but very romantic. And after many years of service in Istanbul, he had to leave, and had also to leave because he couldn't take her because it was not an official marriage. So the heart was broken, and she came back every day to the Palais asking, will the ambassador come back to Istanbul? He promised to come back, but he didn't come back. Only at the end of his life, he wanted to come back, but he died of a disease, and she died of the broken heart. So the story is that she continued to live here as a ghost to check in whether the ambassador comes. So she comes, and she is in the Palais, and she visits all the new consuls to see if they are the men they were waiting for. And so we have our own ghost, and normally we have a nice rose here, which is apparently, it's a little bit now, it needs to blossom again, but it's a very nice story. And actually Ambassador Kalkun is much more remembered by this story than by the diplomatic work he did for our country. And that was on that occasion we had a modern sculpture, a light sculpture made about Beyazgül, which is even more, I think, a symbol of the continuous connection that we have. And also, I think it's much more like a ghost-like.
Yes, it's like a silhouette going through the walls. Yeah.
So this story inspires many artists. There's a theater piece on Beyazgül.
Wow.
There is a lot being written about her, but also sculptures and artists. About Beyaz Gül, actually, we don't know too much about her. There's a reason to believe that it was a real story. In the possession of the family Kalkoun, there is a jewelry box, which when you open it, you see a depicted bird, a kalkoun. A kalkoun means Turkey, also very interesting. So Ambassador Kalkoun actually had the name of Turkey. So
that's pretty interesting.
On top of the Turkey there is a lady, which is very beautifully dark-haired, pale face, like the symbol of beauty of that time, I guess, on the Turkey. And this box was for a long time was taboo in the family because it's what's
inside.
What's inside.
Now we are in front of a painting. Would you like to elaborate on that a bit?
This is the ballroom, and in the ballroom that we use for meetings. I often show visitors this picture because this picture is very illustrative for the relationship and our history. Basically, our diplomatic relations go back 400 years, more than 400 years, and there was quite an intensive interaction with the Ottoman Empire, and this was because we were allies against the Spanish Habsburg regime, and we fought for our independence, and we had the help of the Ottoman Empire to do that. But this was an ambassador in the 18th century, beginning 18th century, who presented credentials to Sultan Ahmed III, and you see the role of foreign ambassadors and the role they could play in peace between different empires. I think the tulip is really something we share historically and in the present. I think there's a lot being written and a lot being said about the diplomacy of tulips. The tulip is something that came from the East. It came from through the Sultanate to the Netherlands. We have become a very famous country for tulips, but we owe it to Turkey, and we also bring something back to Turkey. And last year or 2 years ago, we found a very forgotten species of the Istanbul tulip, and we donated it and we brought it back to Istanbul, and it was now shown in the Tulip Festival in Emirgan. So here I think it's very nicely brought together. Tulip is our national symbol and it is your Turkish national symbol, and we combined it in this design. So I also have it here on my
it's a delicate flower that connects us.
It's a delicate flower. It requires good care, like our friendship. It's strong. It can endure the sun, but we have to water it. We have to take care of it.